Housing prices and interest rates continue to be going up. Here talking about the changing real estate market is real estate broker Jim Bottrell. Jim Bottrell, welcome. First time in studio. We're usually Zooming. This is way better.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, we just talked about it. You got prices going up, interest rates going up. How long might that last?
Well, you know, everything's going to depend on interest rates to see how things are going. So as interest rates have been going up, and traditionally, buyers over the last several years, buyers have been they've been getting hit hard with the prices going up, but the interest rates have been going down and getting to historic lows. So it's been okay. But now the buyers are getting hit by both the high prices and the higher interest rates. Right. And that's really thinning out the herd of the buyers. We're starting to see a fundamental market change with that.
And people are always asking, okay, is this the top of the market?
Well, you know, that's going to depend a lot on interest rates. You guys are going to start to see some articles about how houses are sitting on the market longer, about how they're starting to see price reductions. And those are mostly the houses that are overpriced. And what people did is they just looked at what their neighbor's house sold for 4 weeks ago and adding $50,000. Well, you know, those days are over. We can't do that anymore. So you will see those houses that'll sit on the market for a long time, and you'll see price reductions and some of them not selling. But if you want to talk about a broad market decline, that's definitely going to depend on interest rates. And you know, as we know, we've had inflation that's out of control, and interest rates have kind of been out of control too. So every time I'm on the show, I always talk about interest rates, because they're a lot more important than what the price is you pay for the house. So if you were last fall, you could get interest rates in the low 2s. In fact, in December, I just closed on a house where my 30-year fixed interest rate is 2.5. But I was on this show being interviewed on April 7th, so just a couple weeks ago, right? And I was talking about interest rates that have gone up a lot, that they're at 3.9, starting to see some 4s. Well, here we are on April 24th, what, 2.5 weeks later? And interest rates are in the high 4s, and I'm starting to see 5s. Okay. Now, if that continues, we will see some problems with the housing market. And then one of the things that we run into a lot, it's very helpful to the viewers out there, is we're getting a lot of people that are saying, well, I want to wait. I want to wait until the prices come down some. Well, if the prices come down, it's because interest rates are at 8 or 9% at that point in time. And maybe they get the house a little bit cheaper, but if you're paying 8 or 9%, are you really saving any money? You know, and that's going to be what's devastating to people. If the waiting is just not the right answer right now.
So are we getting to a point where buyers are just going to throw their arms up and go to heck with it? I'll wait till something changes.
Well, what we're seeing is the big change in the market is we're starting to see the buyers, for the first time that we've seen, is they're canceling escrows. In the past, in the last couple of years, if they were lucky enough to get their offer accepted, they were not rocking the boat at all. But nowadays, when you have buyers that are, you know, paying up well over asking price, they're maybe making up an appraisal shortfall with cash. And they're going through all of that, and they ask the seller, hey, can you maybe fix that leaking faucet in the secondary bathroom? And the sellers are saying, no, we're not. House is sold as is. Right. Well, what we're seeing today in this market shift is the buyers are saying, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're right. You can keep the house. We're canceling. Wow. And that hasn't happened in the past. So that's where I'm seeing the fundamental market shift, is the number of escrows that are failing to close.
And in closing, what advice would you give to both buyers and sellers?
I would say that if you want to make a move, if you're thinking of maybe buying your first house, do it now. If you're thinking of upsizing or downsizing, do it now. Or if you're like so many of my sellers that you're selling your house and you're leaving the state of California, do it now. Waiting is not going to help. We know today is a known factor. We know what we have today. 3 weeks from now, a month from now, I just don't know what it's going to be.
All right, Jim Bottrell, we appreciate your insight and analysis. I want to acknowledge your service in the U.S. Marine Corps. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
All right.
All right.